There's a version of you that everyone knows. The steady one. The one who always picks up. When someone's life falls apart at midnight, yours is the number they dial. When the group chat goes quiet after bad news, you're the one typing the paragraph that holds everyone together. You listen. You talk them down. You stay on the line until they can breathe again. And when they finally ask how you're doing, you say the same thing you always say. I'm fine. And the conversation moves on, because it always does. Here's what almost nobody notices. Nobody checks on you. Not because they don't care. Because you've never once given them a reason to. You made sure of that. You've built a life where needing help is something that happens to other people. Being the strong one looks like a personality. It isn't. It's a role. And somewhere along the way, you were cast in it. You didn't audition. You just noticed nobody else was doing it. So you did. This is what most people get wrong about strength. They think it means you feel less. The truth is, the strongest person in the room is usually the one carrying the most and showing the least. Your calm isn't the absence of weight, it's the training to hold it quietly. Think of a house. Every house has one wall doing more than the others. The load-bearing wall. It holds the roof, the floors, the whole structure. And here's the thing about that wall. Nobody looks at it. Nobody checks it. As long as it's standing, everyone just builds on it. That's you. You're the load-bearing wall of your family, your friend group, maybe your whole workplace. Everyone leans, everything stacks. The favor nobody else can do, the crisis nobody else can hold, and a wall that's still standing never gets inspected. It just gets handed more weight. So here's what being the strong one actually looks like from the inside. The first one is going to feel uncomfortably familiar. The first thing it looks like is this. You answer the question before you've even checked. Someone asks how you are, and fine is out of your mouth before the question lands. It's not a lie, exactly. It's a reflex. Somewhere between your feelings and your voice, there's a gate. And the gate only opens one way. Watch what you do next. You turn it around. Anyway, enough about me. How are you? You've gotten so good at redirecting that most people never notice they told you everything and learned nothing. The second thing is quieter. Your own problems have to pass a test before you'll let them count. Something is genuinely hurting you. And before you can even feel it properly, a voice cuts in, other people have it worse. It's not that bad. You're overreacting. You put your own pain on trial, and the verdict is always the same. Not serious enough to mention. Here's the problem with that test. It has no passing grade. Whatever you're going through, you can always find someone who has it worse. That's not perspective. That's a rule you wrote so you'd never have to be the one who needs something. So the trial never ends, and you never testify. This is John Bowlby, the psychologist who mapped how children attach to the people who raise them. He noticed a pattern he called compulsive caregiving. Some children learn that the safest way to stay close to people is to take care of them, not to be taken care of. That lesson doesn't fade with age, it just gets better organized. The third thing is the strangest one. You can't put it down even when nobody's watching. You'd think the strong one would save it all up and finally cry it out alone. But when you get the space, it doesn't come. You feel the wave start to rise, and something in you steps in and gets practical. You make a list. You clean something. The feeling gets managed before it gets felt. Somewhere along the way, even your own tears started needing an appointment. And the appointment never comes. That's not control. That's a system so old it no longer switches off. You've been holding yourself together for so long that holding is your resting state. Even your privacy has an audience now, you. Ask yourself when you last fell apart in front of another human being. If you can't remember, That's not composure. That's the cast. The fourth one is the strangest of all, because it turns the kindest thing people say to you into the heaviest thing you carry. People mean it as a compliment. You hear it as a job description. You're so strong. I don't know how you do it. I could never handle what you handle. Every time someone says it, the wall gets a fresh coat of paint. They're admiring the exact thing that's costing you the most. And now you have a reputation to protect. So you start performing a wellness you don't feel just to keep the story straight. So the one time you think about asking for help, you picture their faces. The surprise. The quiet recalibration. You imagine being downgraded from the strong one to just a person. The phone stays in your hand. The message never gets sent. And you decide it's easier to stay the wall. None of this started with you deciding to be this way. Roles like this get assigned early. Here's where yours probably came from. The first route is simple. Somewhere early on, the people around you needed you to be okay. Maybe a parent was overwhelmed or unwell or barely holding on. Maybe there was chaos, and you noticed that when you stayed calm, things went better. Or maybe you were simply the oldest, and the job rolled downhill until it reached you. Nobody sat you down and said, "You're the strong one now." You just read the room. Children are brilliant at reading rooms. So you got composed. And composure got rewarded. Look how mature. Look how easy. Every time you needed nothing, the house ran smoother. You learned that your needs were a cost and your steadiness was a gift. You've been giving it ever since. The second route goes deeper. Somewhere along the line, being useful and being loved got wired together. That's the pattern Bowlby saw. If closeness in your early life only flowed one direction from you toward them, you learned a quiet equation. I am wanted when I am helping. Being needed became your way of being loved. So you kept making yourself needed, and it works. That's the worst part. It works. But an equation like that has a shadow side. If you're only wanted when you're helping, then needing help feels like breaking the deal, not just inconvenient, dangerous. Like the moment you lean on someone, the whole arrangement ends. The third route lives in your body. You stopped hearing your own distress signal. Your nervous system comes with an alarm. It's the part of you that says, "I'm not okay, I need something." But an alarm that gets overridden long enough gets quieter. Press that override every day for 20 years, and eventually the signal stops reaching you at all. You don't feel needy. You just feel tired in a way sleep doesn't fix. That's why the strong one so often doesn't know they're struggling. It's not denial. The message is still being sent. It's just been rerouted into your shoulders, your jaw, the exhaustion you can't explain. Your body is still asking for help. It's just stopped asking you. So that's the machinery. A role you were cast in, an equation you learned, an alarm you can no longer hear. Here's what to do with all of that. The first shift is small. Catch the "I'm fine" before it leaves your mouth. You don't have to deliver a confession. Just pause at the gate. Next time someone asks how you are, wait one breath. Then try one true sentence instead. "Honestly, it's been a heavy week." That's it. One sentence. The gate doesn't have to swing open, it just has to unlock. It will feel wildly overexposed the first time. That feeling isn't danger. It's unfamiliarity. You're using a muscle that's been in a cast for decades. It's supposed to feel strange. Do it anyway, in small doses. The muscle comes back faster than you'd think. The second shift. Let one person see one thing you haven't solved yet. Notice how you only share problems after you've handled them. By the time anyone hears about a hard thing, it's a story with an ending. Past tense. wrapped. That's not sharing. That's reporting. Try handing one safe person a problem that's still open. No bow on it. Let them sit with you inside it. You're not asking them to fix anything. You're letting yourself be witnessed. For someone who has spent a lifetime being the witness, that is the actual repair. Care has to flow the other way at least once before you'll believe it can. The third shift is a habit you can break today. Retire the test. The next time the voice says other people have it worse, notice what it's actually doing. It's not giving you perspective. It's taking your turn away. Both things are true at once. Someone always has it worse, and yours still counts. Pain isn't a competition where only the winner gets care. You would never make a friend qualify for your attention. You would never tell someone their problem was too small to mention. The rule you enforce on yourself isn't a standard. It's an exception, and you're the only person it applies to. The last shift is the deepest. Let someone check on the wall. Some people in your life are attached to the version of you that never needs anything. When you start having needs, a few of them will flinch. Let them. The relationships that were built on your role were never resting on you. The real ones will hold. That's how you find out which is which. A load-bearing wall that never gets inspected doesn't stay strong. It just stays quiet right up until it can't. But a wall that gets checked, maintained, repaired where it's cracked, that wall holds for generations. Being looked after was never the opposite of strength. It's how strength lasts. You've spent years being the reason other people are okay. You're allowed to be someone's reason too. Understanding people like you is what Still Psychology is for. If this found you at the right time, subscribe. There are more people holding up the room than you'd think. And this is where they figure themselves out. Being the strong one was never fake. The strength is real. It just deserves to be held too. This is Still Psychology.